Ladies and gentlemen, there is a new iRacing blog development update, and we're just quickly going to look through and see what they have to tell us this time. Because, as you know, around maybe every quarter or so of a year, we get an iRacing development blog update from Greg Hill. And it's time for another one of those to sort of update us on where we are in terms of iRacing, what's going to happen over the next season. Let's just get straight into it. So first of all, it just starts out by addressing, hello iRacers, it's been a busy start to the year. In this phrase, he basically says that they are still expanding, they are still working, they are doing their best to improve the sim over and over again. Now, as we know, over the last couple of years, iRacing have been expanding the amount of people that's on board, the amount of developers that they actually have. So it's good to see that they still keep working, keep expanding, keep improving on themselves. Secondly, he just addresses the special events and stuff that's happened until now this year. Of course, the 24 Hours of Daytona, the Raw, and the Daytona 20. Or the Daytona 500. Now here he says, and this year we set participation records yet again with the Daytona 24 drawing an impressive 24K entries, making it the largest and most significant single event in sim racing history. Which is impressive that iRacing keeps on growing. Of course, we had this Corona boom, then it went a little bit down, but it's still going up. You know, there's still people joining here. Now, Daytona 24 being this biggest sim racing event ever is pretty cool, especially because we finished P2 and split 1, so we don't mind that. Anyways, we scroll on down and basically talk about the next upcoming update that comes around 3 weeks time or so, the 25 Season 2 update that will basically come around the corner. Now, there's actually not that much new content yet. This can still be announced, but I don't think we should expect the biggest, craziest update for this upcoming. First of all, there is an Arca Menards car coming up, which is a pretty popular, it's been around for a long time, and a pretty popular car on Oval. I don't personally race Oval that much, so I don't necessarily know anything about this car, but there will be a new Arca Menards car soon. If you recently bought the current Arca Menards, you will get a sort of replacement like they've done other times, where if you bought it within the last half year or something, you maybe get 50% of your money back to go buy the new one, stuff like that. So if you just bought the new one, or you just bought the old Arca Menards, don't worry, you will get some of your money back probably, and you can go ahead and buy the new one. On top of that, there is a new Legends 34C. So if you like the Legends cars currently, they're very small, very sensitive oval cars that typically race on very, very small ovals. There will be a new Legends, I guess. I mean, I'm guessing that's what it is, because I don't really know a lot about oval. What I do know a lot about is what's going to happen with the GTPs and LMP2s, because we are going to be getting a big update. As you know, a couple months back when the last update dropped, there was a huge drama about the fact that the iRacing GTPs were way too unrealistic. They were so fast, going way too quickly through Porsche cars, other high-speed corners and stuff like that. They just had way too much grip. And basically, oh my god, I get a follow in the middle. The chances are so small of that happening since I'm not actually streaming, but I didn't turn my alerts off. Sorry about that. Anyways, basically, they talked about last season that they were working on an update and they wanted to ship that this season. So that is exactly what they have done. They basically say that they worked on getting the new tire model, but with the new release, it quickly became clear to us that we missed the mark in an important way. Cornering performance was way off, and iRacers were justifiably let down by this lapse. Together with a much needed but yet to be delivered update to our hybrid system modeling, the release did not measure up, which is what there was a lot of talk about. Now, then it basically says that for iRacing, they want to provide the most realistic simulation racing experience, and they want to keep on working on it. So they put up a plan to attack these issues as quickly as possible. Phase 1 went through the tire model and sort of updating it and making the cornering speeds more realistic, which is what we will be getting in 25 Season 2, so in about 3 weeks time. And Phase 2 included an overhaul of the hybrid system, which is delayed, or which will be coming probably next season or the season after that. But that's Phase 2. So Phase 1, for now, we will be getting some new GTP cars that are hopefully more realistic, so cornering speeds aren't ridiculously crazy. As it says here, Phase 1 is ready to go and will ship with the new Season 2. So, this will be interesting. It will certainly be a huge change up to the GTPs. As he says right here, the adjusted model is true to life and can be a handful at times, especially when tires are cold. So the fact that they say that it's true to life is crazy, because if you've seen the real life GTPs at an outlap, at Le Mans, for example, in the first sector on an outlap, the GTPs lose around 2 to 3 seconds just going onto the back straight, and that's about 30-second sector, right? So the cold tires are going to be pretty crazy. As they say here, iRacers should reacquaint themselves with their favorite GTP or the LMP2 in test sessions before jumping into a race with their iRacing peers. So this will be an interesting update. I'm looking forward to sort of hopefully getting some more realistic GTPs in the upcoming update. Now, on top of that, we will be seeing Portland International Raceway. This is probably a track that I'm not going to be driving on. If you know this track, if you live nearby, if you've ever seen something on it, maybe it's something that you're excited about. In real life, it's filled with Formula E races, Pirelli World Challenge, and AMA Superbikes. Probably not a race, probably not a track that I'm going to be driving, but it is coming, that's for sure. On top of that, they are going to be updating a bunch of tracks that already exist with the new 3D curbs. As you know, iRacing has gone through and updated tracks recently, like Watkins Glen, stuff like that with 3D curbs, and they are bringing that to quite a lot of tracks this next season. That includes Jerez, Aragon, Sandown, VIR, Winton, Wolfskuchen, and Hockenheim. Barcelona, Road America on the bubble as to whether they will be in Season 2 or available later. But that is still a big list of tracks that will now get the 3D curbs. If you haven't driven on the 3D curbs, they rumble more, they make more force feedback effect, and also they are sort of harder to manage. So that is a good and more realistic update that will be coming soon. So that is Season 2 will also see a debut of new sim features and functionality. First of all, there will be the Debris Refresh Phase 2, which just includes some update and some more stuff in that. And secondly, we have this, which is something actually kind of interesting. Let's say that you have bad internet connection, you will get flagged with a connection flag. Basically, if it's too bad, you will be put back in the pits, and until you can fix your connection, then you get to drive out again, which is interesting. It's good to get the people with really bad constant internet connection off the track, but what I'm more worried about is, you know, let's say that you have a little fallout or something. For example, it happens sometimes to me, maybe once every 2 months. Sometimes it just happens that the internet cuts off for a second or two or something. I don't hope that would affect this. We will see what will happen. He did say that this is not, perhaps maybe not ready yet. It depends on how the testing goes for the next 2 weeks. But we will see this feature soon. On top of that, there will be more customizability in terms of AI difficulty. That's interesting if you drive with AIs, I guess. On top of that, new lighting model, which is something iRacing's been talking about for a while. The fact that there will be new graphics coming in, new graphics model, and on top of that, or for now, not on top of that, for now, it will just be a little lighting tweak with the new lighting model, which will be interesting. I'm super excited to see what iRacing actually managed to take this. It is a little bit of an outdated looking sim unless you have an absolute monster of a PC, right? Which most of us don't necessarily have $30,000 to spend on that. Anyways, I'm looking forward to this as long as it doesn't cost us any more performance. Now, scrolling on down, there is a little bit more info on small features that will be coming to Season 2, but what's really interesting is more the fact of what will be coming further on in the future. To just quickly cover this, firstly is basically about the fact that they will be getting more languages to the UI. On top of that, there will be some payment account management that have been changed and stuff like that. Season 2 will feature hundreds of additional fixes and improvements. And finally, here they talk about the new sim UI, the in-game sim UI, which we should be getting around now or the next season, one of these seasons. But they don't want to release it just yet because they just want to make sure that everything is fine. As they say here, they want the last 10% of the project to also be completely finished. Now, moving on to stuff that is coming in the future after Season 2. So this is not what's dropping in 3 weeks. This is what will be here afterwards. I'll start with the new graphics engine, which is supported by a full team of the best graphics engineers in the business. So this is, of course, basically the new lighting model. On top of that, some new sky model and stuff like that. Basically just a complete overhaul of the way the graphics in iRacing work, which is really nice. As I said earlier, it is a kind of old looking game in a way, right? It is from 2008, but they are working on a new sky model, updating how the sky looks, how clouds render, how shadows also will look on the track, which is gonna be interesting. I'm looking forward to this. Finally, they talk a bit about something that they talked about last season. They're working on better force feedback, better tire models, stuff like that. A bunch of different stuff to just overall improve the experience in sim, both with driving, but also being off track in the in-sim UI, but also in terms of graphics and stuff like that. So overall, they are expanding the sim, just trying to make it better, trying to make the whole experience better, which is good to see. As I think they said somewhere in this post, I don't really know where now, but they said somewhere in this post that the next couple of months and years for iRacing will be very, very revolutionary for them. Like, they will completely change the sim in terms of like upgrading it to just another level, which is super exciting. And on top of that, they are working on, of course, the audio thing that we also they also talked about, sort of 3D audio where it bounces off the grandstands and you get sort of more spacey audio, which I think is also super exciting. There's a lot of stuff that will basically be coming in the future to iRacing. And there are final couple of things. I know this is a long video, but there's a lot of stuff that we just want to cover and just talk through, right? Because it's what's happening with the future of the sim that we all love to drive on, right? So a pair of Gen 4 cars are nearing completion. If you love oval, that's cool. And on top of that, they are working on significant projects with IndyCar and NASCAR. They have another Ferrari in the works. They don't necessarily reveal what Ferrari it is, but there is another Ferrari in the works. Our scan of Adelaide went well, and our sizably scanned and photography team successfully navigated the dynamic public roads racetrack. So Adelaide will be coming soon as well, which is cool. An old retro track, very iconic for F1. Miami International Autodrome is progressing nicely. I'm excited to see this. This is a current F1 street track, or half street track, that we will be getting to iRacing soon. I'm looking forward to seeing this. On top of that, we signed Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, so basically where the Mexican Grand Prix is held, the one with the long back straight and the sort of twisty sections, which I am really interested to see. This is I personally, I like this track. It always provides some really good racing, also with the long straight that it has. That's basically all there is to cover. There is some pictures that I will just show you in a second. Basically here they just sort of ended off with the next years in iRacing are going to be great, but for now they just want to get the new GTP tire model out to sort of make those realistic, right? Because there was a lot of complaints about that. Scrolling down, here are some pictures of the new track refresh. I think it's basically just in the textures and how you see the sun sort of reflects off the stripes here, and how it reflects off different materials and stuff like that. A bit of render about the night lighting. This looks very cool. I'll be honest, I don't exactly know what all this means, but I think this is basically just the lighting levels of a night light. So one of the trackside lights, so you can see how the shadow makes it darker and stuff like that. A new helmet model is in the works. Here is a picture of the packet loss as well. Here's the new sky graphics that they're sort of working on, the fact that clouds will be rendered differently, and a work in progress art refresh of Homestead. So that's everything for this blog update. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye!